Hi everyone, this is Lori from the Crafting Auntie. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome all my new subscribers and welcome all of those that have been with me for a while. And as you can see, I have a bunch of stuff on my table. I want to make a mini paper bag journal. And I want to put vintage papers in as a signature. So I've got various vintage papers here. I want to cover the inside and the outside of this paper bag, which is it's a pretty good size paper bag. Let me just give you some measurements here. Use any paper bag, really, whatever you may have. This one I got off of Amazon and it is quite large. So it's like 12.5 by 6 1/4. So what I want to do is fold this into a journal, kind of like that. So what I want to do first is add some map to this. I've cut a couple of pieces. This is all vintage map. And I want to put it on both sides. I had thought about, do I want a pocket? Do I not want a pocket? I've decided no pocket. So after I glue this on, I want to take it to my sewing machine and run around it with this stitch. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's just ink these edges. So I'm using walnut stain, distress ink. I go all the way around this. Okay, so I want this one to go on the inside, like this. So let's just go ahead and get that glued on. Again, I'm using art glitter glue. So let's just clean this off a bit. Let's get this down. So I just went through my stash. I wanted to use some things for my stash, so I haven't been using a lot. I've been doing a lot of digitals lately because I have a lot of digitals that I want to use and make projects. I don't want to just buy them and have them sitting in my computer. So I've that, plus I've been doing some design team projects for Polka Art Studio. So been a little busy on that and hadn't taken the time to really start to use my vintage stuff. So that's why I decided this project was going to be completely vintage, except for the paper bag. I didn't have any paper bags that were vintage. Okay, so get this all pressed in. So far we've got that. Okay, and then I want this one on the outside, and then it will come over like this. So that's where I'm headed with. So let's go ahead and ink this side and then get this side down as well. All right. So let's get this one glued down. And since I'm stitching on this, if this is something that you want to do a stitch, you could also put this on with a glue stick. The only reason why I don't really use a glue stick is I don't like the warping that happens. And I don't get that with this or with Fabrifix or Fabri-Tac. So that's why I prefer those. Okay, so we've got this down. So it should look about like that. All right, I'm going to go stitch around the whole thing and then we'll come back and continue. Okay, I've just used what thread I had in there. So I have used white. It's kind of hard to see, but there is stitching. You probably can't see it, but there is stitching on there. So now let's see, I want to figure out what size I want my journal to be. And here's my plan. So my plan is I have this old vintage postcard and I want this to kind of hang over. And then I've got this couple and they're traveling. They're traveling the world. So that's kind of what I'm going for. Then I'm going to do a tie wrap around it. Okay, so let's work on our pages. So I have a bunch of paper here. I have one piece of coffee dye paper, I have a vintage straw paper, and then the rest of these are just vintage documents, or I have also Braille. So my plan is just to put a bunch of vintage papers in this. I'm probably not going to decorate it now. I don't know if I will decorate it because I do like to have all the vintage look in it. But maybe on another video I might do that. So let's see. Let's figure out how big I need my pages. Helps if you turn this around the right way. I think let's do 4.5. So that would be 9. I'm just going to do these in half. Let's see. How tall? That's what I need as well. How tall do I want them? 6 inches. Okay. So let's do some tearing. Okay. And even if my other part of the page is not exactly 6 inches, I'm going to go ahead and use it anyway. So let me just line this up so I get this straight. This is some Braille paper that I've had. So here's a couple pieces of that. I think what I'll do is just tear this in half. I think the rest of these are going to be pretty much the size. Might have to flip up something. Okay. Well, let's just do this. Give myself a little mark. That's where I'm going to tear. Make it easy. Okay, we've got that. And then let's do this one, the same thing. Okay, I think that's all we need to tear for now. So let's just start folding and then we'll make our signature. So you can use any kind of paper. I wanted to incorporate a little bit of plain sheets. I'm learning to journal. So I have shared before, I had made my Hannah devotional journal book a while back, and I'm doing that Bible study right now. And so I'm learning to journal in that book. Never have been really a journaler at all. Let's see. I wonder if this is going to be too wide. Let's just double check. I may have to fold it. Yeah. Okay, so let's just do this. And let's just fold this in. Something different. Okay. That should fit. Yeah. I think these are going to be okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's do the same thing with this one. We'll just fold that in. That. Okay, so I have music. This is a vintage music sheet. If I gained the world. This is a railroad. I think it's a copy of a check or shares. Actually, it's showing shares. So I think what I want to do is fold this up. I don't want to cut this, and fold this in half. That'll be like a little pocket. And it doesn't matter if they're shorter. The pages do not all have to be the same. This is also a more for shares. 10 shares for the railway company. Let's see. Let's do this one this way. Get some variety. And then this one, I don't know if I need to fold that up. Another piece of vintage ledger. And then we have, I think this is like a receipt. Oh, it's a bill. Past due, $166.80. Somebody needed to pay their bill back then. Okay, so I've got all these papers. So let's create a signature. Let's put this in the first. Add this. Let's do that. And then, how about this? No, let's do the music. It needs a little bit more larger piece. And then we'll do ledger. The past due bill. Let's do copy die. Oh, we need to add one of these in too. So let's see. Let's put one of these here, and then this, and then let's turn this the other way so you can see it. There we go. And Braille. This ledger, some of this is kind of questionable, but I think it's going to be okay. And then I want to put this other straw piece up here. So let's put it in between here. Okay. So I think that's going to be my signature. So let's see how this looks. This comes over. Oh, that's perfect. I love it. That's perfect. Okay, so let's sew this in. Let me grab some clamps and grab my stitching stuff, and let's do this. Okay, I've chosen this wax thread. Whoops. And first thing I want to do is get this in the position that I want. So I think that's good. And then I'm just going to use my pokey tool. Just line all these up. Make sure they're where I want them. And then I'm just going to use these large paper clips. This is a small one. Push that in. And let's clamp this side as well. So I want to make sure this is all pushed in. You know, this piece is tearing, so I am going to pull this piece out. Okay, we'll just go with what we've got right here. All right, so you want to push this all the way in. And I'm just going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. But because this comes down a little bit, I want to make sure I capture it. So I'm going to start right about, get this lined up again, right about here. And I'm just going to poke all the way through. So I don't know if you can see that. And in the center, again. And kind of the same amount of distance at the bottom. Poke that through. So here's where I've been poking through. So now we have our holes. You can see that. So we have our holes here. Now I'm going to take 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Probably don't need this much, but I would rather have more than less. And then I'll just thread my needle. And I'm going to go right into the center hole. And I'm going down. And then I'm just going to tuck this tail under there so I don't pull it all the way. I'm going to come to the, you can go top or bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and go up here to the top. Get that pushed through all my pages. There we go. Pull that up. We've got our first stitch there. And then I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom and do the same thing. Pull that. And then back up through the center. Very simple 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Now what you want to be careful of is that you don't split your threads. So I want to make sure. And come out on the other side of the center. Take the needle off. Pull this out, and I'm just going to give it a good tug just to make sure everything is taut. Check it here. And then I'm going to tie my knot. 1 and 2. Snip off the rest. Now if you wanted to have a dangle or anything like that coming out, you could make this longer and you could do that. I've chosen not to do that. So now we have our little journal bound. It's so soft and squishy. I like that. Okay, so let's take a look at our pages. And the first thing I want to do is just kind of give these a good press. Just so that they're in here good. Come along here and just give them a good press. I'm not doing each and every page, but just doing in between and just giving them a nice press so they'll lay nice and flat. Okay. So now we have all our pages. So we have this. Here's our braille. Straw paper, music. Oh, the other side says only believe and live. Got some ledger, receipt, and here you can make this into a pocket. Another pocket you could do here. And then the other side. All out of vintage papers. It just really makes the journal, and I miss doing some of this. Got so wrapped up in digitals. I'm enjoying this. Okay, so on the front, give this a good press out here as well. I want to add this postcard, and then I want to add a eyelet out here, and I think that will be my closure with this sari silk. So I think what I'm going to do is set my eyelet first onto this, and that way I got it where I want it. So I'm just going to eyeball it in the center. So just doing the best I can on that. That's good. Using the large setting, and set my eyelet. Now these are We Are Memory Keepers, larger eyelets. I love them. They're a little bit more expensive, but they are awesome. Okay, so you could also, and I'm thinking about it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. You could have a tuck spot here, you could have a tuck spot here, or you could have it under here. think I have decided no tuck spot, but I am going to ink this. So let's just give this a good ink all the way around. Okay. And I think I'm going to glue it right about there. So just make sure you're not getting any glue on this side or it'll seal your journal. So I'm going to put my finger here. And this is a very old postcard, carte postale. So let's just add the glue along this line right there. Across here. Then, let's make sure we've got this lined up correctly and going the right way. So let's see. Get this down and just line it up. Perfect. That's what I was looking for. All right, now I got my people. So I think they would look good right about there. So let's just give them a little ink as well. And they're sightseeing on vacation. And they're going to all kinds of places in Europe. Let's see. I think right about here. Okay, perfect. Now we are just down to adding our sari silk. So this is the sari silk I want to use. And I'm trying to think, how do I want to do this? I come through here, make a tail, and then we wrap this around and then tie it in the front. So let me cut like that. Let's see. Try not to cover up their faces too much. So let's see if we can do this. A little bit tighter. Oh, maybe I could just tie the bow over on this side. That's a good idea. Like that. Okay. Trying not to cover them up. Okay, so that's good so far. Now I have this little charm. It says live your dream. So they're living their dream. So I'm going to use some of this twine. Get my trusty needle threader, put it through there, and pull this twine through, just like that. And then let's see, where do I want to put it? I think I want to put it right by the eyelet. And we'll just tie this. So, and then I'm going to wrap it around again, kind of making this up as I go along. I want it to be not flopping around. So I think if I can tie this again, that will hold it in place. Let me just do another one. And we can trim these down. Okay. Well, there is our little paper bag journal, vintage style. So let's open this up. Yeah, that works perfect. And on the inside, and here we have all the vintage map. And we have all the vintage papers. And then we have our closure. Wrap that around. Go again. I think maybe we'll just do it again. That way I don't have as big of a bow. Right here. Like so. Okay guys, well that's my little project for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun using some of my vintage goodies that I have not worked with in a long time. So you guys have a great day. God bless you all, and we'll see you at the next video.